Hello guys, my name is Stamo, and if you don't know about me, go check below the video. I'll put a link so you can get to know me better. So without further ado, let's get straight into the topic. Interviews in 2025. What's changed? What's different? What's the same? And what are we gonna do this year to land good jobs in the technology market, the tech market, engineers, quants, data scientists, etc. So first of all, let's start with what happened in 2025 that affected the interviews at some way. There are two major events actually that affected the interview process. One of them is AI. It's everywhere. Everybody's using that. There are multiple tools. We're going to discuss about some of those. And the second topic is the US having a new president, which did affect the markets, the companies, a little bit of layoffs, a little bit of hiring. So we're going to go through all these pillars. There are three main pillars, as you can see. So let's go through the first pillar of change, AI. So how did AI change the interviews, the interview process, and what's different? So basically, there are now all these startups and companies that are AI cheat codes. They basically help you to cheat the interview. And what happens is they give you some problem, let's say a LeetCode problem, and on your screen you have all the problem solutions, etc. And even when you share your screen, it's invisible for the recorded screen. So what happens? They give you a problem, you cheat it, even though sometimes they know that you cheated. My friends at Fang, they see those guys on a daily basis, but they can't really do much because how would you blame someone in 2025 that they did something that you don't have like a robust explanation of what's wrong? So what happens is then they call them on a live interview in their office, and then they just fall miserably, like miserably. So the way AI changed the interviewing service is in two ways. First, it made it a little bit easier to learn when you really want to learn and when you don't know where to start, because AI is more or less like Google on steroids. You can find anything, you can ask it anything, it can find you any information you need, it can go and scroll and find whatever you need. So basically, you can learn a little bit faster, maybe a little bit more efficient. You can simulate interviews with it, you can ask it to make mock interviews, you can do anything with it. It's quite comfortable. If you don't use it. It's out there, it's for grabs, so make sure you're using it to its full potential. That's one aspect. The second aspect is the interviews. They begin to change because nowadays the companies see, okay, everybody's cheating. What are we going to do? We have a solution. We're going to release that pretty soon. But yeah, for now, what happens is most of the companies are basically calling them into the office to check eventually what they're doing. They're trying to go through their experience, try to find some techniques like, for example, asking multiple different questions that are not really related. But when you ask the person to make some inference based on those multiple different factors, some of those from their experience, some of them from the problem that's on the screen. And if they kind of cheats, basically they can't really make up their mind because the code that was written by AI is uncorrelated to the problem in their work, and AI doesn't know about their work. So what happens is AI knows the solution of the LeetCode problem, but it doesn't know about your experience. So you can't connect the dots. So yeah, AI has both positive and negative sides. Things are going to change. We're going to change them as well. So stay tuned. There's going to be something really nice cooking. So let's go towards the next one. LeetCode, our lovely algorithms and data structures. First and foremost, please learn those in every detail. It's very important to have like fundamental understanding of algorithms and data structures. It's literally the backbone of coding. It's not a surprise that the fund companies, the hedge funds, all the top dogs that are paying ridiculous amounts of money to interns and graduates. I have some ex-teammates from the national math team who joined like hedge funds for 800,000, 900,000 straight out of uni. Yeah, we're talking about Ivy League level of uni, but why are those guys paying 900,000 USD or pounds to some graduate with almost no experience at all, even though that they know these algorithms, they know maths pretty well? Why is that? Because it matters. Please go through, learn it, not because of the interview, but because you're going to get a lot better at what you're doing at work. LeetCode is there to stay, not in terms of evaluating candidates maybe, At the final rounds, when it's on site, probably they're going to still ask you to do some algorithms and data structures, but it's for your well-being, for your knowledge, for your understanding, for your career progression. So LeetCode is basically half that in terms of interviewing using LeetCode style problems, but very much alive in terms of how you actually learn to code and how you actually learn computer science. So without further ado, let's go to the second one. And here is maybe the most controversial of all, it's system design. And why is it controversial? Because there are like all these books explaining system design, you learn them pretty well, you go to the interview and they just don't let you in, they reject you. Why? Because system design has two aspects. One of them is purely theoretical, knowing the basic concepts like what a load balancer is, what a rate limiter is, what a URL shortener is, how to manage databases, isolation levels. All these stuff are very, very basic and fundamental, and you have to have a very solid foundation about them. You have to learn them well, you have to understand them well, because as the saying goes, you don't want to like find the hot water again or find America again. It's already found. Don't try to refound stuff again. Just use the knowledge that's already there, what people have already found, learn those things really, really well, try to understand them. But the second part of system design is actually your experience. Your experience. If you don't have the experience, you're not going to have this intuition, understanding, like it's a much deeper understanding and understanding the trade-offs of different designs. That's maybe the most accurate. You have to understand the actual trade-offs, and it's very, very hard to learn this just by theoretical knowledge. You do need to practice those. You do need to build things yourself. If you haven't started building stuff from scratch from yourself, just start. It's the best way to learn a lot more advanced concepts yourself. If you don't have like a teacher, mentor, or somebody at work helping you, just start building stuff from scratch, from absolutely very zero. Build the front end, build the back end, connect it to a database, host it somewhere on Vercel, it's free, render whatsoever. Just host it there. Try to add some connection to it. Try to add a little bit of complexity, connect it to AI whatsoever. Try to make a copycat of X. Try to make a copycat of YouTube. Try to make a system that's about notification. Try to make a system that's about management, some images whatsoever. Just build stuff from scratch. Make them as useful because they're like toy projects. But some of those toy projects might go into a startup, you never know. You might ask like your parents or your relatives or some friend with the business, hey, what do you need for your day-to-day life? Doesn't matter what it is, just build stuff from scratch. It's really going to help you build understanding about system design on a level that's past theoretical. And that's very, very key if you're learning alone. When you learn alone, it's a lot harder, it takes a lot more time, but you have to do it. Otherwise there is no otherwise. It's only one way. Learn more by doing more. And finally, how is system design going to change at interviews? My guess, my belief is it's not going to change at all. Besides like different system designs, especially in terms of AI and like RAG models, etc., chats, messages. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same because it's your understanding of how the systems work. It's your understanding about how the major components work, how the different pieces connect to each other. And it's very important to understand and remember each very complex system is actually made up from smaller building blocks. Each of them is pretty simple. You might have like literally like 10 APIs, GET requests, very simple. You might have one database, like Postgres, for example. You might have a domain, Namecheap, whatsoever, just go buy one domain there. I think there are domains like 50 cents or $1 or something like that. Just experiment with it, DNS, CDN, etc. Having some API to OpenAI or Claude, doesn't matter. Just connect to it. All of these 4 components, you're building them into one system. And now you have basically your own ChatGPT, which might be like very complicated if you want to scale that for 100,000 people, for 1 million people, for 10 million people. It's going to get more and more complex, even though each of the building blocks is like actually very, very simple. With time, for example, it's going to grow you're going to add a load balancer because you're going to have multiple servers. You're going to add a rate limiter because there are going to be DDoS attacks. There are going to be people trying to build your account more and more. So yeah, just understand that multiple simple building blocks build a complex system. And the complexity doesn't come from complexity of the building blocks, but rather from managing them all together at once. Okay, guys, so this is the overview about the interviews in 2025. What's going to change? Not much, really. There are going to be a little bit of changes, in my opinion, about how interviews are proceeded, how they're conducted. We're going to change them as well. We have something cooking, so we're going to release it very, very soon, which is going to be disruptive for the industry, hopefully, and it's going to help it. So yeah, until then, stay tuned, prepare better, and wish you multiple six-figure offers. Goodbye.